One rainy and windy day, the mother drove her daughter on the road. The mother did not see the landslide sign ahead. The little girl was scared by the speed of her mother's driving, so she told her mother to drive slowly, but the mother was in a hurry, so comfort her daughter, it was okay. Just when the mother turned to comfort her daughter and then turned around, she saw a pile of collapsed rocks ahead, but the mother was no longer in time. The car crashed straight into the roadside barrier, and then somersaulted in the air. When the rescue team rushed to the scene, they only discovered the mother, who was in a coma. Even though they searched the entire radius of the surrounding trees, they could not find the girl. They only discovered a shoe next to the riverbank. The rescuers suspected that the girl had fallen into the river and was swept away by the water. When the girl woke up, she found herself deep in the mountain. She was scared and called her mother. After the rescue staff discovered that she was lost, her memories, and forgot her name, where her home was, and who her parents were, she also forgot everything. What was even more pitiful was that her father was also murdered by his best friend, and her mother turned into a vegetable unconscious after the best friend learned that the girl had lost her memory. This man wanted to swallow her father's company, so this man ordered the girl's father's driver to erase her name from household registration, then took her to a remote monastery to start a new life, but the driver could not go against his conscience. Before leaving, he told her to never forget her name was Yoon Jae-in, the tycoon's lady who could have lived a happy life, but now is often bullied at the convent. She was even ridiculed as a pity child, abandoned by parents. But in Jae-in's eyes, she didn't think she was pitiful. If she was really abandoned, her father wouldn't tell her her real name. Her father must have had some unspeakable suffering. That was why he had to send her to monastery. There will definitely be a day when her father comes to take her home. Very quickly, 17 years have passed. Jae-in can't wait for her father to come pick her up. After growing up, Jae-in relies on her efforts to become a nursing at the hospital. She could not have imagined that her destiny would change while she was here. Today, Jae-in accidentally saw the scruffy old man falling in the elevator. Jae-in kindly immediately took him to the doctor's room for a checkup. But no matter how much she thought, she never expected that this old man was a mountain god. Later, her fate would undergo an extremely shocking change. The doctor being nauseated by the mountain god's teeth that hadn't been brushed in 3 years, but Jae-in saw that without any disparagement, she even comforted the old man to open his mouth wide. But Jae-in saw that without any disparagement, the mountain god glanced at the kind girl. Seemingly, he found the right person. When the mountain god was discharged from the hospital, even because she was afraid that he wouldn't have money to buy the medicine, she took her own money and gave it to him. She told him that if he bought leftover medicine, he should buy food. The mountain god didn't understand why she treated him so well, so he asked if she was pitying this old man. Jae-in told him that she didn't pity him, but because she was worried about him, so she did that. The mountain god knew she was in an urgent matter, so he kindly reminded her that she probably didn't have time to pity him anymore. Jae-in suddenly remembered that when she got out of the elevator, the head nurse was looking for her urgently, so she quickly said goodbye to the mountain god and left. The head nurse criticized her for being half an hour late, so she quickly explained that she accidentally met an old man who fell in the elevator, which is why she was late, but the head nurse didn't believe her explanation. Then the head nurse took a pile of documents and told her to complete them before leaving work. Jae-in didn't come home until late at night. She sat dejectedly on the bench in the hospital lobby. At this time, the mountain god appeared again. He even brought yogurt to drink with her. The mountain god saw that she was not happy, so he told her to say her heart's wish. To repay the favor, he would help her make it come true. Jae-in just smiled gently. She thought the old man must have wanted to comfort her, so she also coordinated to say 3 wishes that she wanted. The first wish was that she hoped to see her family again. The second wish was to become an excellent nurse. The third wish is the hope of meeting a sincere man and then getting married and building a happy family together. The mountain god nodded with satisfaction. Then he asked her to open her hands. He gave her a necklace with a key-shaped pendant. Jae-in looked at the key in her hand and couldn't help but remember her tragic destiny. The mountain god told her that starting from today, this key would fulfill her 3 wishes. Now they will start from meeting her family again. At this time, the nun from the monastery she lived in the day before came to find her. The nun curiously asked Jae-in what she was doing here alone in the middle of the night. When Jae-in turns around, she discovers that the old man has disappeared and is nowhere to be seen. The nun told Jae-in that the abbot of the monastery has passed away. Before leaving, he told me to hand over this to you. This is the letter her father wrote to her over the past 17 years. Jae-in looked at the keychain in her hand. She remembered the old man's words, looking at the stack of letters teaching her father to write to her. Jae never believed in life will have a beautiful ending like in a fairy tale, but at this moment, she finally believed it. So the next day she went to find her father, according to the address written on the letter. According to the address in the letter, she finally found it. Seeing her father's noodle shop, she encouraged herself to find the courage to enter. Just as she was about to open the door, a group of thugs came to collect protection fees and pushed her aside. Seeing father being bullied, Jae-in immediately rushed in and hit the thug, but less than a minute later, she was chased out by the thugs. She accidentally fell on the wife, bringing vegetables to her husband. She scolded Jae-in for not having eyes. Jae-in was in a hurry, stood up to apologize. At this moment, Jae-in was suddenly grabbed by the hooligan. The woman saw the newly purchased vegetables being trampled and got angry and beat the hooligan, and a big battle broke out. As a result, they were all taken to the police station. When the driver heard that the girl's name was Yoon Jae, he was extremely surprised. He asked if she was really Jae-in. Tears filled Jae-in's eyes looking at this man gently calling for dad. The woman sitting next to her didn't understand anything. She looked at Jae-in, then looked at her husband. She really didn't know when her husband had a daughter. Jae-in lost her memory, so she considered the murderer who murdered her biological father to be her biological father. In-bae felt that he was guilty and unqualified to be Jae-in's father, so he decided to tell Jae-in the truth. At this time, In-bae's wife suddenly appeared. She thought that In-bae had betrayed her. Suddenly a daughter appeared, making her extremely angry. She held threw things at Jae-in and said that your appearance had turned our lives upside down. She told Jae-in to leave here immediately. Jae-in felt that being able to meet her father once now was good, so she quickly said goodbye to her father and turned to leave. At this time encountered Young Kwon being discharged from the hospital and going home. Jae-in was surprised to recognize her acquaintance. Young Kwon was the patient Jae-in took care of, but when the two people at the hospital did not realize they were childhood friends, Young Kwon questioned Jae-in why she called his father dad. Jae-in suddenly realized that now she and Young Kwon had become half-brothers. Young Kwon thought about the time when his life was in danger while at the hospital. It was Jae-in blood transfusion to save him. Now Jae-in has become his younger sister. He really wants to go crazy. Young Kwon runs to blame his father for betraying his mother, and now both mother and Jae-in are hurt because dad. Looking at his father's helpless suffering and sad face, Young Kwon told his father that Jae-in was the benefactor who saved his life when he was dying thanks to Jae-in, who had the same blood type as him, saved him in time. At this time, Jae-in left In-bae's house and was crying in the rain, very heartbreakingly. She took out the key to the mountain god. It seemed that her wish to reunite the family was about to be broken. At this time, Young Kwon suddenly appeared to take Jae-in home. On the other hand, In-bae came to the grave of Jae-in's parents to apologize. That year, he accidentally left Jae-in at the welfare hospital, but now she has become the benefactor who saved his son's life. In-bae thought it was time for Jae-in to return to the position of a tycoon's lady, so he called Jae Myung, the person who single-handedly swallowed Jae-in's father's company. In-bae told him that Jae-in had returned. I wanted to help Jae-in regain the life that belonged to her, but how could the cruel Jae Myung give the position of president to someone else? So he ordered In-chol to eliminate In-bae. In-bae realized that he did not have much longer to live, so he called the prosecutor in charge of the case that year to tell the truth about his death, Jae-in's father. But at this moment the prosecutor went to take a shower and didn't answer the phone, so he sent a text message to let the prosecutor know that Jae-in was still alive. At this time the person Jae Myung sent suddenly appeared. The content had not yet been sent but was seen by his subordinates. The prosecutor finished showering and saw many missed calls, so he realized something was wrong, so that the prosecutor immediately called In-bae back, but the phone battery had been removed by In-chol. In-bae struggled to escape the grip of these people, but after running for a while, he still could not escape. The arrangement of fate would have it. He had a car accident. In-bae used his last strength to tell his wife that she must bring Jae. In return, before he finished speaking, the only person who knew Jae-in's background in this world was gone. The other party couldn't find Jae-in, so Jae Myung was extremely angry. He poured out his anger on In-chol. It seemed that In-chol did not tell Jae Myung what he saw. It turned out that In-chol was the nephew of Jae Myung. After his father passed away, he was always considered disregarded by Jae Myung. Now it seems that In-chol didn't tell his uncle about the message because he had his own purpose. He wanted to borrow Jae-in's hand to overthrow Jae Myung. I guarantee you've never seen a strange interview method like this. Each person who comes for the interview is given a big bag. If the candidate wants to pay for the whole year, put the equivalent number of bricks in their pocket. Each brick is worth 1,000 won. Young-do said that if you put one brick in the bag, the yearly salary will be 1,000 won. If you put 10 bricks, the yearly salary will be 10,000 won. If you put in 100 bricks, how much money can be calculated by yourself. Anyway, no matter how many bricks you put in your pocket, that is your salary for the whole year. Everyone who came for the interview felt like this company was crazy, but they didn't expect how much they would regret next. Someone asked if they could put in as much as they wanted. Young-do nodded. According to Young-do's regulations, starting from now, there are 5 minutes. The starting time, the person who comes to the interview is no different from fighting. They greedily put the bricks in the bag and are just afraid afraid that they put too little in. Soon the time was over. Everyone filled their bags, but there were people who weren't as greedy. Jae-in just took a brick. The tycoon prince In-woo didn't even take a brick because this was originally a company of his father, but Jae-in's good friend Young Kwon stuffed 35 bricks into the bag. Young-do said that next, everyone had to carry the bag of bricks to the rooftop, and the whole building with a total of 33 floors. Hearing this, everyone was stunned on the spot. They felt like they were going crazy at this moment. What surprised them even more was that when they went up to that floor, they couldn't take the elevator but could only take the stairs. If now they took it out of their pockets, any bricks or help from others will be eliminated. Only those who rely on their own strength to carry their salary to the company's rooftop will have the opportunity to get the corresponding salary and a one-on-one interview round in the near future. The time limit is to reach the rooftop within 10 minutes. If they do not reach there within 10 minutes, they will still be eliminated. After speaking Young-do immediately went to the rooftop. The interviewers seeing this quickly picked up their bag of bricks. They began to regret it. Some people gave up on the spot. In-woo brought an empty bag. In-woo ran to laugh at Young Kwon for filling his bag with bricks. He said you hadn't even started yet and you was eliminated. In-woo quipped that Young Kwon should give up and go home. Jae-in looked at Young Kwon, bowing his head in frustration, so she ran to cheer him up. He was the one who couldn't do the things like giving up. He had to prove to everyone. Young Kwon also nodded. His destiny was up to him, not up to God, so he tried his best to carry the bag full of bricks up to the rooftop. But when he was about to arrive, In-woo came and raised one hand to push Young Kwon down the stairs. Young Kwon fell down the stairs and fainted, while Jae-in gently went up to the 33rd floor. Then In-woo also arrived. At this time there was not much time left. Young-do did not see Young Kwon, who he had always been waiting for. Before reaching the place, he worriedly took off his sunglasses. At this time, Young Kwon was gradually waking up, but now only 1 minute left. Jae-in was worried that something would happen to him. If it weren't for his personality, he would have gotten to came here, so she would rather be eliminated and have to go down to find him. Time is running out. At the beginning of the countdown, at the moment hanging by a thread, Young Kwon, he carried the bag of bricks and climbed up. After seeing Young Kwon, In-woo began to worry. In-woo was afraid that Young Kwon would seek revenge on him, but Young Kwon did not disappoint him. Young Kwon rushed forward and punched In-woo in the face, causing him to fall to the ground. This scene was just seen by In-woo's father through the camera. The tycoon chairman saw his son being beaten and immediately became angry. He will not spare Young Kwon. The girl encountered a man in critical condition. The honest girl immediately took him to the hospital. She did not expect that her fate would change so much. After waking up, the man asked why she saved him. The girl replied that he was so badly injured that she couldn't leave him alone. The man looked at the kind girl in front of him and fell into deep thought. The next day, when Jae-in worked part-time at the restaurant, the man came to find her. Jae-in carelessly spilling juice on the customer. She quickly apologized to him, but the customer got angry and scolded Jae-in for not having eyes. Then this man even forced her to pay for the clothes. While she was not knowing what to do, a man appeared and took a large value check and gave it to the other customer. The customer saw a lot of money, so without thinking quickly put the check in his chest and quickly walked away. The man came to repay Jae-in for saving his life yesterday. She said that it was just a small matter. No matter who it was, she would do the same. He didn't need to repay her. Wait until she earns money and then pay him back for the clothes. The investigating man learned that Jae-in used to be a professional nurse. For a special reason she had to stop job, so he asked her if she wanted to change to a higher paying job, which is taking care of a sick person. Jae-in didn't want to work as a private nurse, so she refused, but when she was about to leave, he said, as long as she works for 2 months, the salary is 10,000 won. If she can do well, for 2 months, he will pay 10% more. After hearing this, Jane was extremely surprised and couldn't believe it. She didn't think too much and immediately agreed, but she didn't know that the person he told her to take care of was the son of the murderer who killed her biological father, the son of the tycoon. In-woo suffered from depression and seizures because of what he experienced as a child. The person In-woo is most afraid of is his tycoon father. Every time he sees his father, his illness relapses. The next day Jae-in goes to work, but when he entered the house, In-woo basically refused to admit that he was sick. He was attracted by Jae-in's bright smile. He said that 10 nurses had already been chased away by him. If Jae-in doesn't leave right away, he will do something else with her. But in order to earn money to help her family, Jae-in does not want to give up this opportunity, so she tries to be patient, just as she was explaining to In-woo why she came here to do. In-woo bit her lip. Jae-in struggled desperately, but she didn't have enough strength to escape In-woo's hand. The first time the girl working as the private nurse of the tycoon's owner, he pressed her down on the chair. She tried her best to struggle, but still could not escape. Just as he was about to achieve his goal, Jaein began to counterattack. She said that looking at him was not mild. The disease has eaten into the bone marrow. This makes In-woo extremely angry. When the two of them were in a situation where In-woo's father called, the person In-woo was most afraid of was his talented father. Even when he received a phone call from his father, his illness would return. His father told him to go for an interview at the company. After saying that, his father hung up. Jaein watched In-woo relapse and began to worry. Jaein did not expect In-woo's illness to be so serious, but when she comforted him, In-woo ran away in panic. He locked himself in the bathroom. His body kept convulsing, even though cold water was poured on him, for a long while. After calming down, In-woo thought that Jaein had been scared away by him and ran away. Unexpectedly at this moment, Jaein suddenly returned with breakfast, and she gently told In-woo that her illness was war. It's not like couldn't be cured. In-woo didn't expect that after learning about his illness, Jaein wouldn't leave, but she was willing to stay and had the confidence to cure him. Jaein was extremely gentle. In-woo was an unspeakable feeling. Then he took a file and gave it to Jaein. It turned out that In-woo's father forced him to work at his company. He wanted Jaein also to work at company to take care of him. Soon the interview day came. Jaein did not expect Youngkwan to also participate. After 17 years, fate brought the three of them together again, but Youngkwan and In-woo did not recognize it. Turns out Jaein is his childhood friend, and the company the three of them interviewed for was Jaein's father's company. After the strange interview, only 11 people were left. Luckily, all three characters all passed the interview. When In-woo drove Jaein to leave, he showed off his driving skills in front of her. Jaein was so scared that she didn't know what to do. After getting off the car, she sat down on the ground in a daze. In-woo really didn't understand why she was so scared. Jaein explained that when she was very young, she had a car accident. Even though she didn't remember anything anymore, she was still very scared. In-woo suddenly remembered that 17 years ago, he had seen on TV the news of the whole family of Jaein, whom he liked to have a car accident. He asked his dad if Jaein really died in an accident. His dad said, "I didn't know." He believed his dad but didn't expect that his father had tricked him into swallowing Jaein dad's company. His father murdered her parents and then took the amnesiac Jae into a remote orphanage. Now, In-woo suspects that this private nurse named Jaein is the Jaein he knew when he was young. So In-woo called In-chol and told that send me Jaein's resume. On Jaein's resume was written that 17 years ago she was brought to the orphanage. He finally knew that the private nurse So In-chol found for him was Jaein, whom he liked 17 years ago. At night, In-woo was thinking if his father knew Jaein was coming back, he would definitely not spare her. At this time, his father and So In-chol suddenly came to look for him, making him extremely scared, and at this time Jaein was also on the way. It turned out that his father came to praise him for his actions of pushing Abu. Youngkwon came down the stairs today during the interview. His father said that if he wanted to be the person to take over the company, he would have to become cruel and cruel. After a few simple sentences, he was about to leave when Jaein suddenly appeared. At this moment, the atmosphere became tense. Jaein didn't know that he was the tycoon's lady. She told the tycoon president to be a little more considerate to her son in the future. This would help his illness. The tycoon didn't expect his son's personal nurse to dare talk to him like this. He asked her what her name was. In-woo, standing next to him, was extremely tense. He was afraid that his father would know Jaein's identity. While Jaein was answering, So In-chol stood next to him and changed the topic of conversation. He told the chairman to call her Miss Yoon. So In-chol raised his eyes and signaled Jaein not to say anything, although she didn't know why. In-woo, standing next to her, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Thanks to the two of them, presidents didn't discover her identity. The president only lectured her once and then left. In-woo got angry and scolded Jae in that he could not make any suggestions to his father in the future. Otherwise, Jaein wouldn't expect to be his own nurse in the future. Then, In-woo angrily went to find So In-chol. He asked why So In-chol knew Jaein's identity but also introduced her to be his personal nurse. He had no choice but to say that when Jae Myung caught Jaein that day, told In-woo that day, after he was injured on In-woo's behalf, he received a phone call saying that had caught Jaein. By the time he arrived, Jaein had already escaped from the hands of juniors, bumped into him. Because he lost too much blood, he fainted. Luckily, Jaein promptly took him to the hospital. Looking at her so kindly, he didn't tell In-woo's father that he had found her. He saved him once, so he couldn't bear to reveal her true identity to In-woo's father, so he could only give her to In-woo. What is her fate? In-woo, decide for yourself. Facing Jae, who he liked since childhood. How In-woo to do it? This company's interview method is really special. Young-do prepares 11 different large and small mystic boxes so the 11 successful people who make it to the next round will choose. Due to the lesson of how many bricks to put in the bag, the salary will be that much in the first round. So one interview participant reminds everyone not to be too greedy. They should definitely choose the small box, otherwise it will be like the first round. Everyone who filled a bag full of bricks has been eliminated. Indeed, after listening, someone competed to choose the small box. When it was Youngkwon's turn chose the biggest box. The remaining 2 boxes of equal size belonged to Jae-in and In-woo respectively. The interviewer told them to open the box. Young Kwang's box was a down jacket. In's box was Woo and Jae-in are a pair of sneakers. The remaining small boxes are all small items that are difficult to sell. Then Young Do says these products are all new products of the company. As long as everyone succeeds in selling items in hand, for In, Woo's father standing behind here, only the 4 people who sell first will be eligible to open the safe with their name on it. Inside the safe is the last task everyone needs to complete. At this time, the person who got the small item began to complain. He chooses the right thing that is detrimental to him. Young Do got angry and said that these things were all chosen by themselves. Now they have only 5 days in their allotted time. The 4 people who could sell the items the fastest could open the safe. He told them to act quickly. When Young Kwang took the product and left, he suddenly met the tycoon chairman of the company. He just looked at it and recognized Young Kwang. It turned out that in the first round of interviews with the tycoon chairman through the surveillance camera, see Young Kwang swinging his son's fist, so he was angry and came to find Young Do and told Young Do to directly eliminate Young Kwang. Young Do told him that Young Kwang did not violate the rules in the first round, so to be fair, he could not eliminate Young Kwang. If because of the chairman's personal feelings, excluding Young Kwang would lose the fairness of the interview, there is no way the chairman can only make things difficult for Young Kwang. If Young Kwang can successfully sell things to the chairman, he will not compare the past and let Young Kwang join the company to work. Before Young Do answered, Young Kwang immediately agreed, but he did not expect how big a hole he had dug for himself. And then wherever the chairman appears, Young Kwang will appear there to market his products. But every time he is chased away with a cold face, even when the chairman has a meeting, Young Kwang is sure of the opportunity. Suddenly, he appeared under the table. The chairman really had no choice but to agree to give him a chance. He told Young Kwang there would be a party later. If Young Kwang could make him laugh loudly at the party, then he would buy the item in Young Kwang's hand. Young Kwang and the president came to the party. He stood there blankly. It turned out that this was his old baseball team. His dream of becoming the king of baseball was destroyed in this baseball team. He was not in the mood to make fun of the chairman, so he left heartbroken. At this moment, the chairman called him back. The chairman wanted Young Kwang to play the clown to make him laugh. Young Kwang thought of the words of his deceased father. He had to learn to be patient no matter what, and because his mother was struggling to make money, so he played the role of a clown. He performed crazily on stage, and the team members below were all made to laugh. Only the chairman did not smile. After the performance, Young Kwang was angry and refused to accept it. He was no different from an idiot being played with by the president, but no one could understand the suffering of having to carry the family on his shoulders. Very quickly, it was the final interview day. No one had sold the items in hand yet. Young Do cheered them until the last minute. Everyone still had a chance. Young Kwang had never admitted defeat, so he ran at the chairman's new product announcement. Young Kwang no longer obeyed the chairman and started insulting him. Young Kwang said he not only punished the old horse, but also punished the horse that tried to work. He said the chairman doesn't know his position clearly. You protect your own horses and is too strict with other horses. Young Kwang confidently tells the chairman that he will use his intelligence to win. No matter how soft it is, it will win solidly. The chairman was teased and immediately ordered his subordinates to pull Young Kwang out. Young Kwang mocked the chairman was afraid. He laughed loudly. He said, "How can I be afraid of a boy like you?" Looking at Young Kwang's confident smile, the president realized that he had lost. Young Do immediately announced that Young Kwang had passed the second round of interviews. Young Kwang did not expect that this interview was arranged by him. The purpose was so that Young Kwang could get the secret that father left in the safe before the car accident. Finally, the department head came to find Young Do. He was willing to buy things from Jae-in. During the trial, Jae-in didn't think about how to sell the product, but ran to the document room. She tried to research the product's features from the consumer's perspective. This scene was seen by the department head. He told Young Do that Jae-in was the one who tried the hardest among the interviewees. He was willing to buy the item in her hand. On this side, In-woo had found a target. He told Dae-sung that his father is the company's president. The next president is him, then told this guy to consider and do it by self. In the end, the people who passed the interview included Young Kwang, the best Jae-in, In-woo. Based on his relationship and a guy who broke recruitment rules, Young Kwang opened the safe and saw the watch his father used when he was alive, and a mysterious piece of paper. At this time, Young Do suddenly appeared and told Young Kwang knew about his father's accident that day. It turns out that In-bae wants to bring Jae-in back to the position of the tycoon lady who belongs to her, so he called the person who usurped Jae-in's father mother's company, In-bae knew in advance that the evil So Jae-myung would definitely not give the company that he had gotten with great difficulty to give to others, so he would kill people to keep the secret. Eliminating the only person who knew the secret was In-bae. So In-bae called to meet a good friend. When Young-do ran over, he saw In-bae being chased by the president's subordinates. Young-do quickly chased after him and saw In-bae being stabbed. When the other people left, they encountered Young-do, who had just arrived. On the way, was taken to the hospital. In-bae wanted to tell Young-do about Jae-in's identity, but the doctor told the patient not to say anything anymore. Then the doctor put on an oxygen mask for him. In-bae could only write down Jane's identity on paper. After he left, Young-do still did not understand what the numbers on the paper meant. After that, he saw the person who murdered In-bae at the company. Surely, In-bae's death was related to the company president, so he wanted Young Kwang to interview for the company. After getting the chairman's trust and decodes the secret on the paper, Young Kwang suspects that the paper his father left behind is related to the name of the previous president who hired his father to work, so he found the burial place of the whole family of the previous president. Young Kwang found out the answer to the president who was murdered in his previous life. The series of numbers on the paper were exactly the same as the numbers on the burial place. Young Kwang suddenly realized that Jae-in was at his house and was not his half-sister with him, and she was the daughter of the previous company president. Young Kwang completely collapsed, so he went to find Young-do to tell the secret on the paper. Young Kwang wants to reset the position of tycoon lady to Jae-in. This beautiful girl is so pitiful. On her birthday 17 years ago, her tycoon father passed away. On the way, her mother drove her to look for her father. They unfortunately had an accident and her mother became a vegetable, and she also lost her memory because of that. Her father's best friend usurped their company, and at the same time this person also threatened her father's driver to take her to a remote orphanage. 17 years after her mother suddenly woke up like a miracle, the bribed doctor immediately called the cruel man who had long ago become the tycoon's chairman. The cruel chairman asked Eunju if she still recognized who she was, but the first thing Eunju cared about after waking up was her daughter. She asked the president where her daughter Jae-in was now. The president was scared and didn't know how to answer. Then because her body was weak, Eunju fell into a coma. The doctor next to her told the president tycoon that Eunju's current cognitive ability and judgment ability had not yet fully recovered, but the chairman was still worried. He asked the doctor if she could recover better. The doctor said that now Eunju awake, that was a miracle, but her strong will has surpassed the doctor's understanding. Whether she can wake up later or not is still uncertain, but the president heard what the doctor said. Then he revealed a cruel expression. His left hand slowly moved towards Eunju's neck. At the moment of hanging by a thread, the righteous prosecutor appeared. She had been investigating the chairman for many years. She told him that it seemed like Eunju could regain consciousness. God really had eyes. The chairman could only silently leave. Today Eunju woke up from a nightmare. This time the prosecutor being next to her. Eunju took one look and recognized the person in front of her as the prosecutor from that year. The prosecutor was extremely surprised. It seemed Eunju had recovered her consciousness, but now her consciousness was white. Eunju stopped at the day of the car accident 17 years ago. She told the prosecutor that her daughter was still in the car. She asked the prosecutor to quickly go and save her daughter. After listening, the prosecutor carefully looked around, then closed the door. Then the prosecutor told Eunju that the traffic accident she remembered was 17 years ago. Eunju was extremely surprised after hearing that. The prosecutor also silently told Eunju all the things that happened 17 years ago. As she listened, tears flowed down. She thought it couldn't be like that. After waking up, both her daughter and her husband were no longer there. It was a huge blow to her. The prosecutor comforted Eunju and said she must accept everything. Only that way she can avenge her daughter and husband. But right now she still can't tell anyone that she has regained consciousness. All the medical staff here are the president's people. Eunju seemed to fall into the abyss. She missed her daughter very much. She silently called Jae-in's name. But in another place, it seemed like Jae-in also heard her mother's call. The key necklace could fulfilling her wish to reunite with her family that the mountain god gave her suddenly lit up. Jae-in, who lost memory, also believed that her mother was somewhere waiting for her. After calming down, Eunju told the prosecutor, helped her take back her husband's company, and then found her daughter. With the help of the prosecutor, Eunju began secretly doing physical therapy, but in the end, she was still discovered by Jae-myung. Know that Eunju had recovered her consciousness. Jae-myung deliberately probed her and said that miracles would not happen in this world, then told the prosecutor that he is Eunju's guardian on paper. He did not allow the prosecutor to change Eunju's treatment plan. What if she did not get better? After he was proud to leave, Eunju turned her head slightly and threw a cold look at him. She began to fight back. Today she told the prosecutor a very important clue. She told the prosecutor to investigate the wife of her husband's former personal driver. Maybe the driver will tell his wife the secret he knows. So the prosecutor came to find Dwayne. In-bae's wife, she asked, In-bae's wife, if your husband worked as a driver for a tycoon family 17 years ago, after their family met with an accident, did your husband ever do anything unusual? In-bae's wife said that I didn't detect anything unusual. In-bae only blamed herself because he drove carelessly and caused his boss to die, then fell ill for several days without saying a word. At that time, In-bae's wife suddenly remembered something. The landlady came again to urge her to pay. The two people were talking inappropriately and started arguing. The prosecutor saw that it was not convenient to continue asking, but could only say, come again next time, and left. In the evening, while cooking, In-bae's wife suddenly remembered that day, a girl suddenly came to look for In-bae. As soon as this girl saw him, this one called father. Because of this, she also had an argument with her husband. That same day, In-bae also had an accident. In-bae told her to take In back to her original position. Before the words were finished, In-bae died. In-bae's wife suddenly realized what was going on. Then she turned around and looked towards Jae-in. Right on the day Jae-in came to their house, it seemed like she understood something. In-bae's wife rushed back to the room. She remembered 17 years ago, In-bae was drinking wine like a lost soul. At that time, In-bae also gave her a wad of money, saying that this was the amount of money for him to surrender. At that time she did not understand what her husband meant and just kept counting the money. But she did not know that this amount of money was the amount of money the president gave Ma-eun. In-bae to hush his mouth. Now she realized that In-bae must have hidden something from her 17 years ago, so she went to the hospital to visit the lady. While talking, the two of them speaking of the children, In-bae's wife said her son Young Kwon is now 27 years old and is still doing job interviews and is extremely busy all day. And the lady said that if her daughter Jae-in was still alive, this child would be 26 years old this year. When In-bae's wife heard that, she was stunned. She asked the lady again to confirm what her child's name was. The lady calmly replied, is Jae-in. Cinderella didn't know she was a tycoon's lady. On her first day at work, she caused a big disaster. She carelessly snatched the wig of an important customer. The girl hurriedly apologized to the customer, saying that she didn't mean to. She was put the wig back on for him, but he pushed her away. The tycoon next to saw the girl he liked being bullied and started to struggle with the customer. At this moment, the tycoon president walked in. Everyone looked at Jae-myung's ugly expression and was very scared. In their hearts, they thought that this time they would definitely be fired. Jae-myung told the girl to kneel down and apologize to the customer. The bald uncle also said that if she did not kneel down, he would not sign the cooperation contract this time. At this moment, only saw JJ in writing something without panic. Then she gave it to that important customer. After watching, the customer was startled and couldn't help but look towards Jae-in. She said the big ocean wouldn't wave just because of a rock. The big tree wouldn't move just because of a light wind. She admitted that she was at fault, but if it was because of a small employee like her that led to the cancellation of the contract, she thought that this was not the style of a large company. Bald uncle blames Jae. Sorry for not being sincere. He refused to forgive and ended the contract this time. When he was about to tell his boss to leave, he was stopped by his boss. Everyone was surprised and didn't understand what this was all about. The boss on the other side handed the paper. Jae-in wrote for Jae-myung. Just saw above that there were 8 Chinese characters taken from a book called Tao Te Ching that she liked. This surprised the boss because his father also liked this book, so he hoped to be able to cooperate with this company. Later transactions may cooperate with her. Just like that, Jae-in, a knowledgeable person, used her knowledge of Chinese culture to solve the problem. Jae-myung looked at Jae-in in front of him and felt Jae-in was also quite interesting, but he could not believe that she was the person he spent so much effort searching for. He was curious and asked Jae-in what her name was, and she did not hesitate to say she was Yoon Jae-in. The president was extremely surprised after hearing that. He suspected that she was the daughter of the friend he murdered, so he asked who her father was, and gently replied that his name was Kim. So Jae-myung understood everything. He remembered what Mr. Kim said to him before the accident. That child is still alive. We must let that child return to its original position. The president 17 years ago, in order to seize her father's company, he threatened Mr. Kim to cancel the civil status of the girl who lost memory, then sent her to an orphanage. But now that girl is working at his company, he decided to attack in again. But the way he was about to use it would definitely surprise you. The man didn't understand why Jae-myung hit him. It turned out that he already knew Jae-in's identity. He asked his grandson what was the purpose of letting Jae-in stay by his son's side. At this time, In-woo ran to tell his father that it was not In-cheol's fault, but that he himself did not allow. In-cheol said he was afraid that if his father knew about Jae-in's identity, she would be harmed. He liked Jae-in, but Jae-in did not know her identity as a tycoon's lady, nor did she know who her father was. Jae-myung scolded his son for being crazy. He said that in the future, if In-woo continued to protect Jae-in, this whole company would be destroyed by that girl. So he told his nephew to immediately fire Jae-in, who had just started working not long ago. bureau, then collected all the documents that were distributed on the other side through the paper that his father left behind. Young Kwang found Jae-in's biological father. It turned out that Jae-in was not his half-sister. At this time, after In-woo knew Jae-in's identity, he did not tell her, but he intended to take her away, avoiding the pursuit of his tycoon father. But Jae-in liked Young Kwang refused to run away with him. In-woo got jealous. He said Jae-in could only have him in her heart. Then he immediately smashed her phone. At this time, Young Kwang also came to company. He didn't tell Jae-in what he found out. He just patted her head to comfort her. He told her to wait here for him. He went to see Young-do, and then came back. Young Kwang said to Young-do, said that he had solved the secret on the paper. The answer is the number of Jae-in's biological father's burial place. Young Kwang also knew why his father had left this paper behind before he died due to an accident. When his father was about to die, his father told him to return Jae-in to the position that belonged to her. Now Young Kwang finally understood what his father said. His father wanted him to return her to her position as a tycoon's lady. Young Kwang told Young-do that he had to take back everything that belonged to Jae-in from Jae-myung. Young-do satisfied said that, except Jae-myung was looking at Jae-in's documents, he revealed showed a cruel expression. It seemed like he had already thought of a way to deal with her, so he brought his subordinates to Young Kwang's house. Young Kwang's whole family was eating when they saw the president coming. Everyone was extremely surprised. Young Kwang went up first and asked why he came to their house. Jae-myung replied with one sentence that their whole family was trash. Everyone was surprised, secretly thinking, when did our whole family offend him? Jae-myung told his subordinates to pull Young Kwang out and then walked in front of Jae-in to start performing. He hugged Jae-in and used acting techniques that should have received an Oscar while saying sorry to her. He told Jae-in that he had been looking for her so hard for the past 17 years. He didn't expect her to be this close to him, but he still couldn't find her. It seemed like the chairman was plotting to clear his responsibility. He said that the story he threatened In-bae to abandon Jae-in become In-bae because of money, so this man accidentally threw her away when she was little. Then he said that Jae-in's biological father was the co-founder of the company with him. On a rainy day, the driver drove the car into the sea, causing her father to unfortunately pass away. This driver was Young Kwang's biological father. On the day, her father had an accident on the road. She and her mother went to look for her father, then had an accident. However, Jae-in believed Jae-myung's words. She asked him if my mother was still alive and where she was. Jae-myung started performing again. He said that after the accident, her mother had become a vegetable. Unfortunately, she passed away not long ago. If he could have found her sooner, maybe she would have been able to meet her biological mother again. All of this was because of Young Kwang's deceased father. In the past, Young Kwang's father always used finding her as an excuse to blackmail money, so he took her to his house, so she definitely had to leave this house. He urged her to leave with him, but Jae-in was a little incredulous what he said, so she went to find In-bae's wife to confirm. She hoped In-bae's wife would say that all of this was not true, but In-bae's wife knew Jae-in's identity and knelt down in front of her. In-bae's wife bowed her head and apologized to her. This woman said that it seemed like In-bae was the one who threw away Jae-in. She also didn't know why he did that. Now they can't call the dead person to ask questions, so she can only apologize to Jae-in on her husband's behalf. Jae-in did not dare to believe that all of this was true. She fell to the ground and fainted. When she woke up, she was in Jae-myung's house. She went to her biological father's grave, but her every action was supervised by Jae-myung. Jae-in did not know that her tragic destiny had just begun. The girl from the countryside has just moved into the tycoon's house. The tycoon's wife criticized the clothes she wore as too rustic, without knowing that she was the owner of this house. The tycoon's wife forced Jae-in to take off her cheap clothes. Only then could she erasing her poverty for the past 17 years. Now she has to wear high-class clothes, but Jae-in knows that the tycoon's wife is insulting her, so she leaves heartbroken. She goes to find Young Kwang. She doesn't have the confidence to face the upcoming life in a tycoon family. Jae-in hopes that both of them will forget all their past life's resentments so they can be together with integrity. If gave up her identity, would he be able to love her? Jae-in did not refuse Jae-in. This warm scene was just seen by Brace, In-bae's wife. Then Young Kwang looked at Jae-in with loving eyes. He wanted to take her to a place no one knew. Then they started a happy life. But when they left, Jae-myung sent someone to take Jae-in back. He beat Young Kwang brutally. In-bae's wife saw her son being beaten cruelly, so she blamed Jae-in that you had already returned to the tycoon. Why did you come back here to make all this noise? In-bae's wife begged Jae-in to come home quickly. You lived a good life with your mother. Jae-in heard that and froze on the spot. Apparently Jae-myung had told her that her biological mother had passed away not long ago. Jae-in wanted to ask why In-bae's wife knew her mother. At this time, In-chol stopped. In-woo ran to tell Jae-in that if she didn't want anything to happen to Young Kwang's family, then quickly return to him. Jae-in looked suspiciously at In-bae's wife. In-bae's wife saw that nodding. It seemed like saying that, I would tell you later. When Woo took Jae-in away, Young Kwang, who was in a coma, suddenly woke up. He begged Jae-in not to go. She really wanted to come to him, but thought that her biological mother was still alive. She couldn't let Young Youngkwan's family encounter bad things because of her, and there were still many secrets waiting for her to solve. So she went with In-woo. On the way back, Jae-in asked. In-woo said that her mother had passed away, but why did his father tell her that my mother had been bedridden for a long time, had just passed away, or that In-bae's wife was lying? In-woo did not answer her. It seemed like he also understood Jae-myung's purpose in picking her up. When they got home, Tycoon Jae-myung threatened Jae-in that if he ever found out that she went to meet Youngkwan's family, he would take their whole family to a place where anyone couldn't find it. Jae-in was so scared that she kept shaking her head. She begged him not to do that. She would obediently listen and not run away secretly. Hearing that, Jae-myung immediately changed his attitude. He told Jae-in, consider him as your biological father. To protect her, he can do anything. Although Jae-in did not understand his intentions, In-woo stood next to him and saw through his father. He went to the study to question his father. It was clear that Jae-in's mother was still alive. But why did you say that her mother had passed away? Jae-myung told him that before getting her signature on the transfer of shares on the papers, still unable to let her meet her biological mother, In-woo finally understood why his father brought Jae-in home. It turned out that he wanted to take advantage of her. Jae-myung said that if it wasn't for that, why would bring such a troublesome child home? Then he solemnly told his son that this was not just a career, but also related to the fact that he could really become the owner of the company. He knows his son likes Jae-in, but if In-woo continues to protect her like that, it will ruin his career. But this time, In-woo is not afraid of his father anymore. He angrily said that the company was stolen from Jae-in's father. He also stole 17 years of her life, so he should give her those shares. But now, he wants to take advantage of her, in a despicable way, truly shameless like no one else. After that, In-woo was beaten by his father, causing him to relapse from the old disease, and lie on the floor endlessly convulsed. But even so, Jae-myung did not intend to let his son go. When he was about to continue attacking, luckily Jae-in heard the noise and ran to stop him. Jae-in brought a medical box treating In-woo's wound. This scene from 17 years ago appeared in Woo's mind. At that time he had developed feelings for Jae-in, so that he could help Jae-in find his biological mother. In-woo silently called the doctor. He asked which hospital room Jae-in's mother was in. Anju had been in a vegetative state for 17 years, secretly doing physical therapy, just to avenge her dead husband. When Eunju pretending to be in a coma, the Tycoon chairman learned that she had regained consciousness and immediately went to the hospital room. Faced with the enemy's inquiries, Eunju still pretended to be unconscious, but she didn't know that Jae-myung was so cunning that she had long since regained consciousness. When he intentionally left, she slowly opened her eyes. She turned her head and discovered that he was staring at her with evil eyes. Eunju was so scared that her heart wanted to stop beating, but somewhere else, In suddenly received a text message informing her that her mother was in the hospital. Jae-in was shocked, because before that Jae-myung had told her mother that she had passed away, so she rushed to the hospital to find her mother. But the moment she opened the door, she couldn't see her mother. She asked the nurse who was cleaning Eunju's bed where Eunju was lying here. The nurse nervously replied that there was no patient named Eunju here. So, Jae-in quickly ran to the reception desk to ask. She even took out her phone to show the nurse, but the nurse still told her that there was no such patient here. The message also had no name, so it was most likely spam. Jae-in did not know that Jae-myung had bribed the nurse and the director of the hospital, and then moved her mother to another place. Jae-in was very disappointed. She didn't know if her mother was still alive or not. At that moment, Youngkwan's mother suddenly appeared in front of her. In-bae's wife told Jae. Knowing that her mother is still alive, In-bae's wife said that just a few days ago she was peeling apples for her mother in the hospital room, but they didn't know that their conversation had been overheard by Jae-myung's subordinate, who ordered Jae-in to watch. This guy immediately called to tell Jae-myung no. He was extremely angry when he knew that when Jae-in got home, Jae-myung knew he wouldn't be able to hide it from her any longer, so he could only quickly ask Jae-in to sign the share transfer contract, thereby getting the shares her father left her. He wanted to quickly become the true owner of the company, but Jae-in said that if he didn't tell her where her mother was, she wouldn't sign, and Jae-myung started acting. He blamed Jae-in for trusting the words of the person who deceived her for 17 years. His words were not that trustworthy. Hearing that Jae-in did not know whose words to believe, just when she was hesitating, In-woo rushed in. He told her not to sign, then he told his father to stop. Jae-myung was angry and wanted to hit his son again, but this time, In-woo did not stand still and take the beating anymore. From childhood to adulthood, letting his father beat him, this was the first time he resisted. In-woo slowly lowered his father's hand. At this moment, Jae-myung realized that he was old. He was no longer his son's opponent. After In-woo took Jae-in away, he said that now his father was so weak, he would no longer be afraid of being beaten by his father. Eunju woke up and found herself tied to the hospital bed. While she was in despair, a mysterious person appeared in the hospital room. This person would change her destiny. The man said he came to help her and would move her to a better hospital room. He He also said, I'm in the same boat with you, I will join you in punishing Jae-myung. But on the other side, Jae-myung looked at the unsigned transfer contract. His face showed a scary expression. It seemed like he was thinking of a way to deal with Jae-in. Afterwards, the landlady came to find In-bae's wife, In-sae, and said that Jae-in had offered a high price to buy back this noodle shop. Now they were forced to move immediately. After Young-kwang heard about it, he believed that Jae-in would definitely not do it. He said, Jae-in didn't have that much money. It was definitely the cruel Jae-myung who was playing tricks. Right after that, Young-kwang angrily went to find Jae-myung. He arrogantly told Young-kwang the chess game had just begun. His miserable days are still behind him. Cannot help but say that Jae-myung's move is truly dangerous. One arrow hits two targets, using Jae-in's name to divide the relationship between the two of them. Young-kwang's sister came to find Jae-in and blamed her for being an ungrateful person. Young-kwang's sister said that in the past, they treated her so well. Why now that she has come to the tycoon's house, she is trampling on their family's restaurant. To get the noodle shop transfer contract was in Jae-myung's hand. Jae-in could only sign the share transfer contract. Then she secretly put the contract inside the noodle shop and left immediately. In-bae's wife saw the contract and silently dropped it in tears. She only felt that Jae-in was truly an honest person. In order to find out news about mother, Jae-in ran to the hospital to ask everyone one by one. In the end, she was even kicked out. The hospital nurse saw she was so pitiful that was kind enough to tell her that after her mother regained consciousness, she kept looking for you. Now her mother was in room 806 of Hospital A. When Jae-in heard that, she immediately rushed in hospital. At this time in the hospital, Kim Chol brought Jae-in's photo to show her mother. He said that now Jae-in thinks her mother has passed away, so she considers Jae-myung to be a good person. She even signed the contract share transfer agreement. Now the time is urgent. Jae-myung wants to go through the board of directors to take over the shares of mother and daughter. He completely swallows the entire company. Before achieving Jae-myung's absolute goal, will not let the mother and daughter meet. Maybe Jae-in will also fall into danger because of that. In-ju heard this and wanted to personally appear to stop Jae-myung's plot. In-chol immediately told his subordinates to take In-ju left, but at this time, Jae-in was asking the nurse for her mother's room number. Fate always likes to tease people like that. Jae-in and her mother passed each other. When she opened the door, she saw In-chol coming out, looking at the empty room. Jae-in knelt down and begged In-chol to take her to find mother. In-chol took Jae-in to Jae-myung's office. Just saw In-ju arguing with Jae-myung. The mother and daughter had been separated for 17 years, finally met again. But because of the excitement, the mother fainted. She was taken to the emergency room but never regained consciousness. This was the first time Jae-in saw her mother again. After 17 years, she still wanted to tell her mother many things. Looking at mother who was in an emotional coma, she couldn't use any words to describe it. Jae-in was lost and sitting in the hallway waiting for her mother to have surgery. At this time, the prosecutor came to the hospital to visit Wonju. After learning Jae-in's identity, the prosecutor comforted her. The prosecutor said that her mother is a resilient person because she wanted to see daughter. She tried to wake up even though she had been in a coma for 17 years. Then her mother tried to do physical therapy. This time, she would definitely wake up. Because there was a meeting, the interrogation was important, so the prosecutor had to leave. Before leaving, she told Jae-in to call her at any time if anything happened. When got back to the hospital room, the doctor told her about her mother's current situation. Not very optimistic. The possibility of recovering consciousness is very low. Before being able to wake up was already a miracle. Jae-in heard that tears fell. She had just met her mother again, and her mother had turned into this, thinking about Jae-myung tricking her into thinking her mother had passed away, and his cruel attitude towards her mother. Jae-in lost her memory and really didn't understand what happened to her parents 17 years ago, so she went to the prosecutor to ask. She wanted to know clearly why her father passed away, and why did her mother become a vegetable, and why was she thrown away. The prosecutor immediately told Jae-in. In the whole story, after knowing everything, Jae-in began to take revenge. She had to take back everything from Jae-myung, so she went to find him. Jae-in said that because you wanted to take over my father's company, you dared to cause an accident that killed my father. Why is my mother alive but you says she's dead? Facing Jae-in's questioning, Jae-in definitely didn't pretend anymore. Finally, he revealed his wolf tale. He said that Jae-in's mother becoming a plant person is like scraps. Living was no different from being dead. Jae-in couldn't hear what he said anymore. She immediately gave him a painful slap. Jae-myung was angry and grabbed Jae-in's collar. He warned now she's just a small rock. How can she overthrow him? But Jae-in told him that people don't fall because of high mountains, but always fall because of small rocks. She definitely will become a stumbling block for him. Jae-myung calmly calmed down and proudly told Jae-in, I look forward to your revenge, but if by that time she cannot overthrow him, that will be the day she must disappear. Jae-in walked out of the tycoon's house. She didn't know what a lonely person like her should do to carry out what she said just now. A dirty old man coming to a big company. Everyone didn't expect him to be a billionaire among billionaires. When all the employees saw him, they all ran far away. but they didn't know that this old man would change the survival of this company. The old man came to the front desk. The old man loudly told Dae-sung to come quickly and receive me. The receptionist was scared to death by this old man aura. She immediately made a phone call. Dae-sung in the office received the phone call and immediately stood up. He was frightened and trembled. Dae-sung blamed the receptionist. Why you told the old man that I would come down right away? Why didn't you say I wasn't at the company? When Dae-sung heard that the old man wanted to go upstairs to look for him, he was so scared that he was paralyzed. He didn't know what to do. His colleagues looked at his pitiful appearance and all felt that he was crazy. Young Kwang curiously asked the girl what big figure the old man was that made Dae-sung so scared. The girl explained that every year the old man came to find Dae-sung to fix the tent that he sold to the old man. Another person further explained that the old man had bought that tent 20 years ago, but the tent was broken. Dae-sung had agreed to fix it for the old man, so he sold it to the old man at a 39% discount. Dae-sung quickly wanted to push this matter to someone else. He asked his colleagues to deal with the old man, but everyone had many reasons to refuse him. No one was willing to accept this hot potato. At this time he looked towards Young Kwang, who had just arrived. So Young Kwang replaced Dae-sung to meet the old man. But how could Young Kwang not expect that this old man would be the benefactor who changed his fate based on his tongue? Young Kwang convinced the old man. He agreed to help the old man repair the tent. So the old man gave the dusty bag to Young Kwang. The old man said that when he finished fixing it, the old man would come back. Young Kwang looked at the old and damaged tent and fell into deep thought, but he still didn't know that his misfortune had just begun. Young Kwang brought the tent in front of Dae-sung. He felt that he only needed to replace the parts. It wouldn't be difficult, but Dae-sung told him that this was an item from 20 years ago. The replacement parts had stopped being produced a long time ago. In this world, it was impossible to find replacement parts. Dae-sung told Young Kwang that if he agreed on his own, he would went to find a solution. Then Dae-sung ran away. Young Kwang didn't know what to do because he had agreed with the old man to fix the tent within 24 hours, staying somewhere else because of the company's capital increase company. So Jane Young went to find the old man for help. Only when he gets this money from the old man will he have a chance to truly monopolize Jae's father's company. The old man's butler told him that the old man has gone out and is not at home now. At this time, Jae-in is also preparing to take back her father's company from Jae Myung, but the lawyer tells her that even if she sells all the shares in, she still lacks 30 billion. Only if someone is willing to lend her money can she fight Jae Myung, and the only person who can immediately take out that much money is only Mr. Wang in the legend can do it. But this person has retired to hide for a long time. It is not easy to find him. Young Kwang brought the tent to the shoe repairman. He wanted to try to convince this guy to change to a new tent, but he did not know that he was Mr. Wang in the legend. The old man refused to exchange the old tent for a new one because this tent was very precious to the old man. The old man told him that this was the last gift that my dead son left me. Young Kwang didn't want to let the old man have any regrets, so he brought the tent back to the company. He told Dae-sung that no matter what he had to fix the tent for the old man, God does not disappoint. Young Kwang actually found the components to repair the tent in the warehouse. In the evening, Young Kwang brought the repaired tent to the old man. Young Kwang helped the old man fulfill his wish for many years. The old man looked at Young Kwang and smiled satisfied. Today from Youngdo, Young Kwang learned that Jae Myung has passed the board of directors and will continue to be president for the next term. The only way to stop him now is money. Jae needs to buy back all of the company's shares, and the only person who can buy that many shares is Mr. Hwang. As long as Jae-in can convince this person, she will win against Jae Myung. So under the introduction of Youngdo, Young Kwang came to Mr. Hwang to borrow money to help Jae-in overcome this difficult door. Mr. Hwang told him to take out something valuable and the old man would lend him the money. While Young Kwang was considering what to take out as collateral, when he saw the tent's components on the shelf, he realized that Mr. Hwang that Youngdo was talking about was the old man he helped. At this time, the old man slowly turned around, made him extremely surprised. The poor guy mortgaged his life to borrow 30 billion from Mr. Hwang, just because he wanted to help the girl he loved regain the company. When Young Kwang happily took the contract to find Jae-in, and then saw her and In-woo kissing, it turned out that In-woo also agreed with Jae-in that he would personally destroy his father as long as Jae-in agrees to be with him to show Jae Myung. Jae-in does not shy away. At the moment she turns to leave, she sees Young Kwang. Although Young Kwang is very unwilling, but for the girl he loved he still gave her the contract he used his life to exchange. The moment Young Kwang held Jae-in's hand, the beautiful things between the two of them appeared in his mind. All the time, the two of them had gone through so much. There were many things going on, but Young Kwang always stood behind and silently supported Jae-in. He never let go of her hand. Even though the two lovers couldn't be together, Young Kwang still gave her the contract that he used his life in exchange for. He could only hide his love for her deep inside his heart. After letting go of her hand, he quietly left to get her father's company back from Jae Myung's hands. Jae-in could only stand and look at Young Kwang left. She also hid her love for him deep in her heart. Jae-in sadly went to the hospital. She thought of her mother who was still in a coma on the bed. She really didn't know if she did the right thing. What choice will she have to make next? She sat on the chair heartbroken and cried without a sound. At this moment, Young-do suddenly appeared and told her that Young Kwang had used his life to help her, and Young-do gave her a piece of paper. He told her to go to the address written on it at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning to meet Mr. Huang. That way she would get what she wanted. Mr. Huang was a billionaire among billionaires. Even Jae Myung is looking for him to discuss the company's capital increase. If she doesn't find Mr. Huang by 7 a.m. tomorrow, her father's company will completely belong to Jae Myung. When Young-do left, Young Kwang was hiding in a corner. It turned out that Young Kwang had asked him to tell Jae-in about this. Seeing that Young-do had convinced Jae-in, Young Kwang sincerely thanked him. Young Kwang secretly looked at Jae-in. He silently prayed that she would not be late. The next day, Jae-in went to the address written on the paper to find Mr. Huang. At this time, Jae Myung also came here. When he saw her, he was extremely surprised. In his heart, he thought, "Why are you here?" Mr. Huang told Jae-in sat down and told Jae Myung that she also came to borrow money. Jae Myung angrily said that the benefit I proposed was not high enough. Jae-in saw that and immediately took out the prepared documents, hoping that Mr. Huang could lend her money to help her keep her father's company. But unexpectedly, Mr. Huang told her that he did not need her to mortgage him. He had already taken the collateral. Young Kwang has mortgaged his life so that I can lend you money. So this time he could only refuse Jae Myung. Jae Myung got angry and immediately stood up and left. Then Jae-in angrily went to find Young Kwang. She kicked him in the leg with a sharp pain. She blamed him that why did he despise his life like that? How could he use his life as collateral? Did he despise his life like that? Young Kwang heard that, then tell Jae-in that he doesn't look down on his life, but that he puts his whole life on her. A poor person like him can't give her anything. The only thing he can give her is his life. She must defeat Jae Myung. He is willing to become her weapon. His purpose for doing so was hoping to see her bright smile from before. He hoped she could live a happy life. That was all his hope. Jae-in listened to Young Kwang said that she like a dreamer, waking up from a dream. She remembered the necklace the mountain god gave her. Her first wish was to reunite with her family. The second wish was to become an excellent nurse. The third wish is to find a man who is good for her. Now the first wish has been fulfilled. She has found her mother. She also understands that Young Kwang is the person she loves. So Jae-in came to find Mr. Wang. She told him that she could not use Young Kwang's life to borrow this money. Mr. Wang was very confused. If Jae-in did not have this money, the company would fall into Jae Myung's hand. Jae-in replied that if she considered Young Kwang as collateral, perhaps she herself would not be able to smile like before. Jae-in told Mr. Wang to give Young Kwang his life back because she had found a way to deal with Jae Myung. Jae-in returned to the company and announced that she would allocate all 50% of her shares to all employees in the company, only giving shares to her employees' company. Then she can help her father keep the company. When Jae Myung heard the news, he was extremely angry. He vented all his anger on his subordinates and scolded In-chul for being useless. "If you did not handle the matter well, I'll kill you." Didn't expect In-chul to hand over all the evidence he had gathered of Jae Myung's crime. In-chul said that by then, he would definitely be investigated by the police, so he had no choice but to cede his position as president. Young Kwang did not believe that In-chul, who had always been loyal to Jae Myung, would now side with them. If so, it would be difficult for him to escape the crime. But In-chul said he believed Jae-in would not be the one to hurt others because of her. And furthermore, he also did not want to be a puppet in this man's hands. Not long after Jae Myung was taken away by the police, but while questioning, he suddenly fainted. The doctor told In-woo that Jae Myung had been suffering from terminal cancer for a long time. It was a miracle that he could live until now. Everyone felt that the bad guy had finally met retribution. After Jae-in got company back, she went to Jae Myung's house. Jae Myung thought that Jae-in came to laugh at him, but she told him that when his life is in danger, he must coordinate treatment with the doctor, then quickly stand up to take back the company. Don't just angry at not accepting treatment. She took the blood pressure meter from the nurse standing next to him to check his blood pressure. When he asked what she wanted to do, Jae-in chose to forgive him. She wanted to. He received treatment, but not long after Jae Myung left this world. Before he left, he told his son that he had never regretted anything in his entire life. The only thing that made him regret was that if the person who was originally pulled up from the bottom of the sea was Jae-in's father, his life would not have ended like this. Not long after Jae-in's mother also woke up from a long coma, the mother and daughter hugged each other tightly and cried. From now on, nothing will be able to stop them from being together. 9 months later, Jae-in returning to her previous job, she became an elite nurse. Young Kwang did not give up on his promise that year. He promised Jae-in to become a famous baseball king. Young Kwang went to the hospital to find Jae-in. He once again asked Jae-in about his previous promise. If he became the baseball king, could she marry him? At this moment, Jaein finally knew that her third wish had come true. She had found her love in this life. So Jaein and Young Kwang are happy together. The movie ends. Thank you for everyone's support and love. Wish you a beautiful life. See you again, you guys, in the following movies.